Good morning. Welcome into Bridging Civil Tension, where we feel it's better to build a bridge than it is to blow one up. Of course, it's with Wallace. Hosts Phil Wallace. He is author, entrepreneur. He is coach, mentor, just all a board director, just whatever, just all around good guy, and plays the part of the African American on this show. I'm Kent Jones. I am none of the above. Well, some of them, I guess, but owner and number one guy here at DDOE, which is the parent company of 216 The Net. And of course, I play the old white guy on the show. So today, good morning, Tim. Glad to have you, brother. Today, of course, we've got, I'm sorry, what'd you say, Councilwoman? Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Phil and I love to. We don't even have to write for this show.
It just comes to us. We're not looking for it.
It literally does. You're just like, did I read that right? Am I even looking at that right? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, yes. So there's a little story, a little happening going on. Out in the land of LA, right? And here's what happened. Nuri Martinez, N-U-R-Y, Martinez, is under fire right now. Now, Nuri is a council member for the city of Los Angeles. She is Latino, and she wears a specific letter in front of her stuff, right. And I wouldn't say she puts on a red baseball cap.
Right. No trucker hats.
Yeah. So here's what happens. In what they thought was a private conversation, some of the most powerful people in Los Angeles politics gathered to discuss the city's once every decade redistricting process. Council president, so she carries some weight. She's the council president.
Man.
Nuri Martinez, council members Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon, and Los Angeles County Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera were all present. And they are now calling for Martinez's resignation. Because she referred to they thought they were in a private chamber or whatever. Somebody pressed record on their phone, it sounds like. And so she's in a room with a bunch of people, and there were a bunch of racist remarks, crude comments about some of their council colleagues, and discussion of how to consolidate and preserve political power. Martinez and the other Latino leaders present during the taped conversation, maybe they knew it was taped. The taped conversation were seemingly they were seemingly unaware that they were being recorded. As Martinez said, a white council member handled his young black son as though he were an accessory, and said the council member's Mike Bonin's son, Periche Chenguito, I'm butchering that, but basically is translated to like a monkey. Martinez also mocked Oxicans and said, "F that guy. He's with the blacks."
No, not the blacks.
While speaking about Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon.
He's one of them now.
Okay, deep breath here, folks. Deep breath.
So much to unpack.
A lot of layers there.
So LA, it's not like Crystal Lake. It's a little different. A little different demographic. More blended. Obviously, there's parts where you have
a lot more ethnically diverse.
Way more ethnically diverse. You do have parts of town where it might be this is black area, this is Hispanic area, this is Asian.
Communities.
But if you think of LA, you don't think
You think Hollywood, baby, right?
One race,
right?
That's not what you think when you think of LA. So
a good melting pot,
right?
Yeah.
And to have a person who's in charge and the president of a place is so diverse and still be able to say things like, "Not Kent, he's with the blacks."
Yeah,
that should be all of you.
Well, first of all, I don't know if there was a flag football game going on and there was a white jersey and a black jersey, maybe.
Maybe it's, no, there's a soccer team, right? the blacks.
Yeah.
He's doing the haka.
Oh man.
And it concerns me. That's the word. It concerns me that the person who's supposed to be in charge of such a high population like LA is has this issue with the blacks.
And if you go, you can go to the LA Times and find the story. If you listen, and they have a recording of the conversation, and it isn't like in a joking manner. I mean, it is hard, it is raw, and nobody in there, as we talked in the green room, nobody in there is like,
don't say that.
Yeah.
She was irritated, and she's just going, and they're laughing.
Yeah.
So then that's the other part where it's wrong that she said it.
Yeah.
I think it's also worse that they laughed.
Oh.
They're going along with it, but then is this the corporate side where you have to laugh at the boss's jokes to not get fired?
Yeah. I mean, she's the president, right?
She's the president, right? So if I show that I'm not allied with the president, what happens to you?
Yeah. Good night, Irene.
You suicide yourself.
Well, you're found with a gunshot wound to the chest while you're hung in a tree.
You're hung in a tree or to a doorknob.
Right? Whatever.
Well, that's if you tell on the.
Yeah, never mind.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Should have been there. Anyway.
Only our opinions.
Only our opinion. Pedophiles.
That's right.
But they went along with it.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in other situations, but like at what point do we get to where people feel confident enough to speak up and say this type of communication and this language is not acceptable?
Right. Now, I sent that to you. I've had a very busy week. I haven't been able to they're calling for the resignation, right? So I don't know who they are, but they're calling for her resignation. And everybody there. Now, with that said, where is the uproar from the black community? I haven't, again, and I apologize, folks. I didn't try to follow it to see what's happening. Right. Now, if they were wearing a red hat with a Dixie flag, there would be a big uproar, right? And there would be the word supremacist tied to it. This is pretty harsh, right?
Because I haven't seen it on my newsfeed,
right?
So I don't know if it's being pushed. Like if
correct, that's what I'm saying.
We'll
slip that underneath the rug,
right? So
because it's a D and not a R, or is it because it's not a white?
It's not a white, so it doesn't hit that same
right.
That same nerve.
It does hit the same nerve, but does it sell as good for the agenda?
It doesn't sell as good. It
right.
does not sell as good. Which I don't understand why they wouldn't. Because if I was going to say something, I would say that I feel like we'd have a stronger case against Latino Hispanic than a white Republican, as far as people at least agreeing with me that yes, she's wrong. In this conversation, you're like, yeah, she doesn't need to say that. In this situation, I get a lot of, well, you took it out of context.
Yeah.
She's saying what he says.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay for her. It's not okay for her to say monkeys or thugs, but it's okay for him to, because let's pick a standard. If we're going to be able to say like, well, why isn't it the same? Okay, bad is bad. No matter what mouth it comes from, and if there's no out of context here, we can't keep saying out of context.
Sal, good morning, bro. Right. And the use of the word is harsh, demeaning, and derogatory.
Right.
Oh, he's aligned with the blacks. He couldn't have said, "Oh, well, he's lined up with Phil Wallace and Kent Jones and and their camp," right? But she was like, she just came hard, right? And it was like, oh,
F that guy because he's with the blacks. Just because, no other reason. He just aligned himself with the blacks.
Yeah. Woo. I mean, and so that is every bit of yuck that you ever want, right? And I've started to get into House of Cards. I'm a couple seasons in, but this is how politics. This is what politics. The people love power. The people that you elect, they show a good face, but this is how it operates. And they try to align things and pit people against each other and whatnot. I don't know who in their camp was like, all right, honey, boop. Let me just set my phone down while this records.
Catch you.
Or let me make it look like I'm texting or looking at something while I'm recording, because this ain't the first time y'all have done this or talked like this.
Oh, you don't get there. You don't talk that comfortably on the first time there.
No.
We've seen that before.
No, you're not new to the party.
We've seen that before.
Right. And everybody there.
Yeah. So then that's why. Because I know that in a lot of not chamber events, but local events with politicians, things are recorded, right? We've seen on where civilians go and they address the politicians in the area and say, hey, this is what we want changed for the schools, or these are the policies we want changed, and it's all recorded. So if you know that's the case.
Right. Now, the other twist to it is the conversation took place mid-October 2021, so it sat for a year. So this person who probably had it tried to blackmail or what. I mean, there's a lot of yuck going on here. It's
like NFL coach emails.
Right, but still, you sat on that. You sat on that
for a year.
For a year. Yeah, and they laughed when they said, hey,
I don't want to see the blacks revolt in LA. You know what happened? That's Mexican and black gangs.
Yeah,
I'm good. Let's use words. Let's figure this out a different way.
Yeah. I mean, it just go get the airport from this little brother, that little bitch. She said, recalled advising Bakewell. They talked about that they were in a parade, and their kids were on the parade, and his son is, I don't know, 5 years old or something. It doesn't seem
being like a kid,
right?
Because she even said that he's been a kid, but
yeah.
And she says jumping around like a monkey.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the guys said, the Bonin, this other guy, handling of the child to when Nuri brings her Goyard bag or the Louis Vuitton bag. So they were trying to say that he was treating him like an accessory. Like, hey, look at me. I'm the white guy with the black kid. Right? That's what they're trying to say. Su negrito, like on the side.
You little black.
Said Martinez, using a Spanish diminutive term for a black person that can be considered demeaning. Yeah. I mean, then she goes on to say, they're raising him like a little white kid. Martinez said, I was like, this kid needs a beat down.
Right.
Let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back. This lady, I shouldn't.
She's bold.
I shouldn't laugh. I mean, I'm laughing because I can't believe it. Right? I'm still like, what? Yeah. And then the discussion later turns to how Koreatown should be handled in the redistricting process. Martinez speaks openly about not wanting to give the area to council member Nithya Raman or give her a renter-heavy district that might be more politically favorable for the progressive council members. It serves us not to give her all the K-Town, Martinez says, because if you do, that solidifies her renters district, and that is not a good thing for any of us. You have to keep her on the fence. You're like, whoa. There's just there was just, Then they go into the district attorney, George Gascon, where she says, F that guy. He's with the blacks.
So I think it's clear, maybe morally not the best person, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, to say the least. Is it she's a horrible person, or is this politics?
Is this systemic?
Is this
systemic? And when we talk about systemic, is this systemic?
Right, because if it's as we're talking
is it only her camp that's talking it?
Right, because if me and you were sitting in a recorded room,
yeah,
we don't say these things, but there's certain things we're for sure not going to say in a recorded room, right?
Yeah.
So for you to feel comfortable enough to, like you said, this person recorded because, like, okay, you guys have said stuff like this every meeting that we have.
Yeah.
I know you'll shoot yourself in the foot. How frequently is this happening? Is it just LA? Is it Chicago?
And it took a year to get out. Right.
And why is that? Is it fear for life? Is it negotiations? Why do we have to negotiate?
Is it all of a sudden people are going to start going to the voters box?
And now I've
conveniently let this slip.
Let this slip. Now that it's voting time.
Because I tried to position it all year. I didn't come out right away. I tried to use it. Hey, this can go away, but here's what I need. Whoop.
This number. And if I don't have this number, just know election time.
Whoop.
It'll be known.
Whoop.
But that's what I can't keep congratulating people for good deeds out of selfish intent.
Right.
And we're seeing this. We've talked about that with the radio, with the reality TV show. It's like, this guy said this.
The
well,
Big
are you
Brother
doing
or
this
whatever,
to not get voted, or are you doing this because morally it's wrong?
Right.
And we're seeing when people are doing good deeds, to alert people about racism or whatever the case may be. But it's not for purity. It's for selfish greed.
Yeah. And the sad truth is, again. If we trace back to when slaves were being trafficked over here, yes, just hold your comments. We understand that they were being trafficked by Africans. Okay, done. Put it away. Right now, if we trace back. We've always taken that particular chess piece whenever we needed it and moved it up a space or over a space or check. Right. So as much as we would hate to say it, perhaps the success of America, right? What we could consider the success of America is all because of African Americans. Because every time there's an election or something happens, y'all get moved like a pawn. Whoop! Hey, well, we could change this. No. Right? I mean, if I want to put a positive spin on it, I can positively spin it to say, hey, just.
But like we talked about last week, the stripper who you guys think likes you, the same thing happens in reverse.
Yeah.
We know that if we talk about certain drug laws or certain gun laws or certain abortion laws, it's gonna push certain demographic a certain direction every single time.
Yeah.
And it's the only time that you really start to hear them talk about it. So everybody's on the same chessboard.
Yeah.
Alex saying?
Yeah, he just says that so I had a thought. I have had quite a few friends in Arizona, California talk a lot on social media about the border crisis, and they are so upset other non-border states aren't taking it seriously. The noise about how those states are trying to make an example by moving people around and try and get awareness. And I always laugh and say, isn't it weird when things don't affect you, how you can have an opinion but don't care about it? Isn't that kind of what cultures have been saying for generations? You don't care because you're not affected. Right. Yeah, we've always, and that's what we've said that on the bridge for a long, long time. Right. It's like till it hits your backyard. Hey,
right?
Hey,
it was just say no, and why can't you guys stay clean until they hit the suburbs?
Yeah.
Now it's, hey, this is an illness, and they need love.
Yeah.
And affection. Okay.
Whoops. Right.
I want that energy in the 80s too.
So when we look at what's happening, that's why I say how, at what point do we go? Hey,
That's pretty good.
Isn't it interesting that you say you ain't got a card up your sleeve, but every time
turn to gambit.
Like, where'd you get that one?
Houdini.
Hey, we've had this in our pocket since quite some time. They came over on boats. It was wonderful. That's when we took the deck. I'm just that's if you don't. So, and again, let's move into a position where the power, the energy, the strength, the leadership, the vision, the tenacity, the ability to rebound, the ability to fight through this is scary to everybody. If you're right, so F that guy, he's with the blacks. Oh, why are they scary? What's going on there? And this isn't. Why does that bother you? Why does that bother you? Right. So
Phil has aligned himself with the whites.
Right. So obviously a lot of people, and that's why things continue to happen the way they happen, because are we scared? Are we scared of their brilliance? Are we scared of
black people?
Yeah.
Are we scared of the brilliance of black people?
Yes. Yeah. Right.
I mean, you talk about slave times. They took away your right to read or write.
Yeah.
I don't want you thinking you're intelligent at all. I'm going to take the people who are the descendants of the Moors.
Yeah.
Who ran Europe for 700 years. That doesn't get talked about in any history class. But I'm going to take them and their descendants and make them not be able to read or write. Yeah, you're kind of intimidated. Yeah. I mean, even the word of choice that's the most derogatory, the N-word, means ignorant. So I want you guys to speak ignorance over yourself for centuries. Nice. I want you to feel ignorant. I want you to live ignorant. I want you to breathe ignorant. I want you to high five your friend and call him ignorant too. So yeah, I think there's a pretty big stigma against the intelligence of African Americans.
Yeah, and the shows here in a political realm, and we don't talk politics, but here we go. Is like, what?
So let me ask you this, because I saw this, and I sent the video or the article that you sent to a friend with this in mind.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, so when it's Michelle Obama is a monkey in a dress.
Or a man.
Lately.
Yeah.
This was okay. Now, if I say the orange man, that's wrong.
Yeah.
What do you say? Chunguito, like the monkey? Bro, what's her problem? She called his adopted son a little monkey. You call this man's wife a gorilla in a dress. Is it because there's no hat that it's wrong?
Right.
Is it like we need to pick one, because we can say what we want to about presidency if it's a black president. Never say anything. We need to all just unify and just know that this is our president for the 4 years. Hey, this Mexican saying the same things that this person said about this group of people, that's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, you have my back against other minorities, but you won't have your back to say that this is wrong if you catch one of your own saying this.
Right. And that's why I say my frustration is, not the see, we're not the only ones, right? That's not what I'm saying is, where's there's everything comes out. You had a political point, but why did whoever had it? Why'd you sit on it for a year?
So,
right? Why not get that person out a year ago?
Well, it doesn't have the voting.
Right.
Because if you take them out a year ago, they have enough time to find another person to put in position to ramp up for election, and you don't have as strong as a case.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And we were talking about this with the green room, right? We were talking about Stop Asian Hate.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Ukraine situation. We talked about who else had to get off the train. We're seeing this situation. We've seen enough racial situations. So from the Black perspective, I'm always told we're one nation. We should be unified, all lives, this, and that. But how are we supposed to continue to move forward? Like, obviously move forward, and it's not that it's going to stop everything, but like if you continue to get shown that it's not all just one, how do you move accordingly? What would be your suggestion for that?
Yeah.
Because we're constantly told, well, you should be having the Asians back for this, or you should for this. Okay, cool. But when are they speaking up as often for us as well?
Yeah. Right.
I don't.
Right.
I don't see it. I don't see.
Right. Well, and that's kind of what I'm saying is, that's kind of what I'm saying is why is it always the same play?
Right.
Why is it always the same play? What are at what point do we go, huh, sweet, African American invented macaroni and cheese. I love it. I'm waiting for the second season.
Cheese,
man, that's good. So let's just update this real quick. Los Angeles City Councilwoman, she resigns amid uproar over racist remarks. So just 2 days ago, Wednesday, the former council president, Nuri Martinez, stepped down. The former president of Los Angeles City resigned from elective office on Wednesday amid national outrage over racist remarks and a leaked recording hours after the state attorney general announced an investigation into the redistricting process. The decision by former council leader Nuri Martinez, who had risen to one of the most powerful posts in the nation's second largest city, came 3 days after a year-old audio recording surfaced of her disparaging colleagues, constituencies, and even the child of a fellow council member. Caught on tape with her were two other council members, Gil and Kevin, as well as Ron and the men, all well-known members of the Latino political establishment, did not confront Martinez and at times kept the conversation going with derogatory comments of their own. Politicians all the way up to President Biden called for 3 council members to resign immediately. Mr. Herrera stepped down on Monday. Martinez initially relinquished her council leadership post. She then announced that she was emotionally exhausted and taking a leave of absence from the council.
All of a sudden, you're emotionally exhausted. This racism is fatiguing.
Yeah.
How hard it is to carry all this hate all the time, Ken. It's exhausting.
The fallout continued to roil the Los Angeles politics and prevented the 15-member council from conducting any city business. So there you go. It was a very emotional statement, it says on Wednesday. Ms. Martinez addressed her constituents. My only goal as council president has been to champion a families first agenda that we can all be proud of, she said, adding, while I leave with a heavy heart, know that I wish you all the best and have faith in your strength to unite this city. So family first, but let me make fun of your family, Phil.
As I was going to say, like, how can you say family first if you're making fun of kids?
Right. I don't get it. Well, that's because whoever is here. Just read this. Read this statement.
Right.
This ain't her words.
It doesn't have.
This ain't her words. We know what her words were. Right. We know what her words were. This ain't her words. The family first, as long as we don't get on the.
This ain't your handwriting.
Family first, as long as it's not with the black people.
Yeah. It's not the blacks.
Right. Don't go to that team. So at what point do us non-black people, us political people.
Right.
At what point do we go, God bless it, let's raise them up, let's quit all this insanity and just stop and move, and let's hold hands, let's move forward, and God bless it, right?
Do you think that's going to happen?
No, that's what I'm saying. At what point?
Because, okay, so
what's the breaking point, right?
And we've talked about this a few times, though. There's that underlying fear that we keep seeing popping up. And there's that line that keeps saying about the delusion of the white race.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is an undertow or underthought of emotion.
Well,
that's going to be the time that it's going to see, like, let's raise up. If there's a fear that keeps striking out about the dilution of our great country.
Yeah, and let's be as honest as we possibly can. How many years until 100% white? So me, right? I'm pretty Anglo, Welsh, and Swedish. Is the minority, right? And here's why. There's a lot of mixed relationships now, right? So at what point do now I start looking
beautiful mixed kids? Man.
Yeah,
that's adorable.
Yeah, right. So
shout out to Elijah.
So at what point do I start going, ooh, I don't look like everybody else?
Okay, so, but is your I don't look like everyone else a fear? Or is it like, oh, this is how Phil felt? Or what's
that's
like,
well,
what's the because like,
well, I would hope
there's people who are like, how, Alex go to, like, I'm at a chamber thing and I feel like maybe a black person would have felt like a chamber meeting in Crystal Lake. Yeah. I feel like in my chamber meetings in California or San Diego. So it's like, man, okay, this is what it's like. Or when you went to Zoe's party, right? It's like, okay. But you're still comfortable.
Because I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
You were never. I was impressed. Give me a second. Okay? All right. I was impressed. But there's people who are like, we are outnumbered. It's getting 60
right. So and maybe that's that. Maybe we the white see that coming, and we're like, we got to do everything we can to maintain, the hand up.
But why though?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I that's what I don't know. It's power. It's always power and money.
It's power. There's a big fear of, if the tables turn, we're going to get treated like we treat.
Well, sure.
But how is that the case though? Because if I say you're mistreating me, no, I'm not. But you have a fear that, okay, if Phil gets power, he's going to treat me like I treat. Aha! You said you didn't treat me a certain way.
Correct.
So how are you afraid that I'll treat you like you treated me if the whole time you were saying that you didn't treat me a certain way?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Math ain't mathin'.
It ain't mathin'. It ain't mathin'. Hey, good morning, Jan. How are you? Welcome in. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I was when Barack was elected, I was like, hey, maybe now the world will look at America differently because our leader looks more like the world. Right. And maybe. Right. And the people, the puppet master said, whoops. Let's go back. Let's go to the other side of the seesaw real fast. Yeah. Right. And hey, there was opportunity. There was opportunity to let's get crazy. Hey, he been here a long time.
I feel like it would hear. Let's just get Joe so we can just heal.
Right.
just do nothing for 4 years.
There.
But let's just stay here and just regather ourselves.
And you know what? We'll give him the okay. She's okay, but she's okay, but she's married to a white guy, so we'll just
give them the woman who hasn't spoken for years.
So yeah, and it's that seesaw play, you know, and you know, you just look at the world, look at the people in the world, and we're seeing it more and more and more, and it's becoming more commonplace. You know, mixed families, whether it's Asian and white, Asian, black, Asian, you know, whether it's black, green, you know what I'm saying? It's becoming more commonplace where it not like, you know, not like the Jeffersons where you're like, what?
Have you seen my nephew? My little sister's married to a white gentleman, and my little nephew is Italian black, blue eyes.
Really?
He's going to be crucial. He's a strong ally.
Yeah, right. The force is strong.
The force is strong with this one. Shout out to Rowan.
Yeah.
So we were talking about like the fear of intellect. We've mentioned this before, but
right.
Like how we don't hear from Kamala Harris at all anymore. Right. And in this situation where we had, you know, however you view it, I think we all can agree not all tweets were perfect for this series of time. Okay, cool. What this person says makes you scratch your head. Just to be fair.
Yeah.
Right. So this one was articulate. Let's shut him up. This one, get his thumbs off of Twitter. What? You sound like
yeah.
And we have another person who could speak up. Who could, hey, sit this one down. Let her take a shot at this one. And we don't even use her. We don't even utilize the weapon. We got Steph Curry not shooting.
So and
how does that work?
And you know, keep in mind, was she the attorney general or something? She's a brilliant lady, right? I mean, you don't get to be the attorney general or whatnot if you're as brilliant as I am. Right. That's why I'm obviously not the attorney general. Right. So
there's levels.
So there's some practice involved. There's some things, you know, and it is a public, you know, I know the attorney general here in McHenry County very well. And he's a driven guy and you know, got the ability to make change and things of that nature. You don't always have to agree with their moves, but you didn't get there because you're dumb.
Right.
Right. However,
but we're going to put you on mute for the entire duration that you're here. You got the votes.
Right.
You set the screen, but you don't shoot the shots.
Or we're going to say, just read what's on screen.
And you could tell it.
Read your role. And then it's like, well, you see, and you're like,
what would make it sound like her? I saw this in a movie. They say this.
Yeah. It's tough, but there comes a point where, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, is people on your own team who you think are on your own team ain't on your own team. And you know, I wanted to bring this up because we have been very critical of one letter against another, but this is the same letter against same, you know, a lot of the same letter. And again, you get the ha, all right. But to your point, why was it okay? And now, but how?
We had a monkey and a noose outside the White House.
But it's some point, and it's not one for the other. What it's saying is, oh, you heard this, but you didn't necessarily hear this, obviously, for 8 years, or longer, and now there comes a point where it's like, oh, and now it's like, oh. No, you all are fighting in the locker room now, and there's a fear. To me, what I get is there's a fear. That's why we got to. I mean, that's what you try to do. That's why you bully people, right? Is you want to maintain the upper hand. Right. There's a fear right? So if we go back in time, perhaps there was a fear of look how strong. Look at these guys are building this nation.
Right.
Whoa, we got to hold them down.
I feel like
we can't break that Bronco. We gotta.
I feel like it's we're on the plantation. Sal's doing the landscaping. I'm in the field with the cotton, and we're both trying to impress Master.
Yeah,
and we're going to fight against ourselves for the Master's approval, but the Master don't like either one of us. But in the meantime, we're breaking our backs and fighting each other for the approval of someone who's not going to like us to be. And this is just like the train. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you get asked to get off the train too, because you're just talking about border. Okay, whose voice are you going to need?
Yeah,
we might want to unify.
Yeah. I am Sal because I can mute his microphone. Yeah, and I'm kicking back with a cigar that the Cubans that the Cubans on my plantation gave me. Yeah. We'll throw everybody in the pot. Okay, so again, we come back to we're on the bridge, folks. The idea is we're talking about it. There's got to be a light bulb in your head that goes, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Right.
Now we're going to be very, 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 very upset for a long time. But much like police brutality, I hate you for bringing that up. But now we start going, oh, yeah, this isn't really right. And they are kind of, and it's, listen to what I'm saying. I have friends who are police officers. I would never want to do that job. I commend you for doing that job, and I absolutely love you for doing that job. Right. But there were times where those lights go on. I don't know anything about the law. I just got a badge and a gun and lights. So get on the ground. Don't. Oh, are you laughing at me now? Oh, get in the squad car.
Some funny boy.
Right. So now I think hopefully the people who are tuning in and America, because again, I can only speak for what I see here. I've never been abroad. When I say that, not a woman, I'm saying, outside the United States. So I can't speak for Europe. I can't speak for Asia. I can't speak for, South Asia, Australia. I've never been there. So what I'm saying is here in America, we, is there a point where we all got to go, right. Now they're fighting in the locker room and they're fighting over the same thing. And what?
Can't be making it up.
So our ideology, quote unquote, is the same,
right.
But our skin's different. And I'm brown and you're black. And he's on F him. He's with the blacks.
But you still got to sit beside me in the crayon box, man. Like,
right?
It's still going to be treated the same.
And this is where you've got to get just so fed up, so sick of it. That you have to you can't just hear it one because it's coming out your locker room. Oh, gotcha. Meanwhile, I've been over here outside the locker room spraying that.
Right. I mean, it looks like was it January 6th? Like, okay, guys,
yeah.
Please understand the thing that you're so passionate about. The reason why you're here. This group is passionate too. So if this is, I thought we were going to handle this like adults. I thought this behavior was childish. I thought this was, but now that your rights or that you feel your toes are stepped on, you're storming the Capitol. Why not talk and let's just all agree this behavior is not okay and be teammates?
Now,
versus you ridicule my get together, I ridicule your get together.
Yeah.
And we actually can't see the passions between either one of them.
And just out of curiosity, I know where P and R are right now. Whatever happened to Q? I remember that for 4 years. this Q, this letter of the alphabet, was everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And now it's like, whoop. It's like Homer Simpson ducking back into the
Right, in the bushes.
But oh, it's still coming? Okay. We just had the timeline wrong. All right. Anyway, Q, thanks for tuning in. Love you for tuning in. And I don't understand. How a grown adult who has the ability to earn a living, a grown adult who has the ability to cognitively think,
good word,
would go, you know what? I'm not going to stay home and vote. I'm going to go. I could change with my vote. Instead, though, I want to go over, out here to the Capitol and storm the Capitol. Oh, by the way, I got to work tomorrow, so I've got a return ticket. I got a round trip ticket, but I think a fun thing to do today.
Yeah. Just today.
I
had a one-day shootout.
Literally, and that's hard. That's hard for me to comprehend, because I'm like, you're all idiots. I mean, what do you think? Do you not understand how our government works? Do you not understand how America is run? Do you not understand that, yes, those people knew what the hell was happening. That's why they weren't there. It wasn't a secret. And you were like, let me put on a buffalo head and go in there.
To an empty White House.
I would have
thought the setup.
Now, here's what I know there's people out there. Oh, well, fat people and the gay and lesbian and all that good stuff, right? And that's wonderful. But the people that you pick, the people that you're picking, are still white people to represent you. I'm a white, gay. Look, go to Capitol Hill, right?
The fact that you made eye contact when you said that, man, looks
right? Is the chess pieces are white and black, right, and to represent your cause and get on in front of people, you're still choosing the white pieces. Okay, it's not that your cause is bad,
right?
But why is it the white piece that you get? So, that's because everybody that you're going to sit in front of is also white,
right? So why would I vote for government official Zoe Smallwood, knowing that the good people of Crystal Lake aren't going to vote him actually to the next level? Then I feel like I wasted a vote.
Yeah.
If I know that Lake and Hell's going to look at something like, never.
Yeah.
Then I just cast my vote aside because I want to support someone black. Yeah. I have to then vote for the whitest person.
Flag on the play, illegal formation nation.
Right. I have to vote for a white person who at least says they're decently in my direction.
Right.
Hopefully.
Right.
And pray that it's not a political stunt.
And we go year after year, year after year, year after year of this great nation. And I will still say that this is the best nation in the world. I still get, I'm still proud to, like last night at the Bears game when that big flag comes out. I'm still proud to see that, right? I'm still proud. And it doesn't mean that we live happily ever after.
No.
But compared to the rest of the world, we all have privilege. I mean, there's parts of the world that don't have our privileges, even if you are an underprivileged person in the United States. That's why I say we're a great nation, right? We have to get through the happily ever after and go, okay, we may have to roll our sleeves up and know that we got mud on our shoes and go, you ain't bringing it in the house anymore.
But You don't want to give up your spot. Me, Sal, and Ming are jockeying for positions. It's not going to work.
No.
We can't be jockeying for positions. You can't be afraid to give up your position. It has to be like, look, for us to make it, we have to give up this ego. We have to give up this fear.
Hey, well, I talk to all my teams about trust. You have to trust. You have to trust your teammates. You have to trust your coaches. You got to trust your plays. You got to trust that the refs are going to make bad calls. That goes on through life. The refs become the police. The refs become the judge. You gotta trust that they're going to make bad calls.
If we stepped on the floor right now, me and you could win a game with the bad ref. Me and you can't win a game with me and you fighting.
Right. Correct.
Let the referee be the referee. We still got to be unified,
right?
And we're missing that in our.
We got to trust each other, and that's what's not there,
right? So
we don't trust each other.
We can't do suspicious things. Hey,
right.
You guys don't do suspicious things. Hey, you guys don't back talk us over here, and please don't act like you're better than us over here.
in 2 weeks, we're going to have. When I say we, Coach and I on two ball guys on a microphone, going to have Casual Pitts, Dr. Casual Pitts. Dr. Casual Pitts is. The Entrepreneur of the Year, and he's on Forbes magazine. He's also African American,
right?
And this guy is changing the world. I mean, this guy is good, but at the same time, I don't see that Forbes magazine being celebrated like if George Clooney were on it, right?
Right.
And some of you will be like, "Oh, well, George is all right." I don't see that being celebrated. So again, how are we being programmed? What's the narrative? Whatever. Noel Dodge, hello says, spend a week in Haiti, and you'll see how privileged everyone in America is. I haven't been out of. Have not been out of the Americas, the United States of America, but I do have some dear friends who go down there every year, and yes, you're right.
The McHenry kids,
they
play basketball. 3 brothers, and they would go down there and do things for people in Haiti, and they would come back. They would work spring. Here, then take the money and do stuff. They built a basketball court in Haiti, high school kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can't even go right now. Yeah, I know it's a very dangerous place right now. As well.
Right, meow.
Troopers. That's it. So I believe that oddly enough, right? Here's what I'm going to say. As vulgar, as demeaning, as racist as those statements were coming out of that camp in LA, I think it's a good thing, because now people go, oh, wait a minute. It's not just
dollars.
Yeah, it's just not the European Americans, right? It's not just the forefathers, if I could put it that way, right? It's like, maybe this runs deeper and hotter and whatever, and maybe we've got to go, wait a second.
I'm not going to say the prize word, but that happened in a local city.
Yeah.
When a lot of the riots were going on, that these two groups were going after each other. The same two that are in LA and the topic of discussion today.
Yeah.
So there has been a history of that. But even then, a lot of the people were saying like, hey, guys, we're on the same team, because just so you understand, they don't like you either. We had to have the McHenry conversation, like,
colors.
I don't think you understand.
Right. Colors. Yeah.
It's going to get pointed at you next, please, or if not first. So please, let's just unify.
Yeah. And so to me, as vulgar, like I said, maybe this is the spark that lights the powder keg and goes, hold on a minute. Every 4 years, every 2 years, we tend to move the African American race some way as a pawn. Okay, and here's why I say that. This was recorded a year ago. Oh, if black people weren't a pawn, guess what? The shit would have come out a year ago.
I'm telling you, watch it's two moves. It's the Black people unite pawn.
Yep.
White people fear pawn.
Yep.
And it's if I can get you fearful about this, this is getting out of control, or that they're taking over, or that this problem's going to come to a suburb near you.
Now, I don't know who the mayor of Los Angeles is. I mean, thank goodness that even the president, the sitting president, said, you know what?
Yeah, you're gone.
Get rid of them, right? I mean, that's wise. But on the other side, it was, listen, honey, why don't you resign? Listen, we throwing her out.
How does that happen?
We ain't throwing your ass out. It's like, hey, baby, listen, why don't you just resign?
Tell people that you broke up with me.
Right.
You can let your safe face when they ask you. I left him.
All of them. I stepped away. I stepped away.
It was too emotional right now that I had to just leave.
Throw their ass out. Get them. Done. Never can run for political office again.
Man, I just wish. Man, can you imagine? Out of the goodness of their heart, Deshaun decided to just turn himself in. It wasn't the kicked in the door, shooting on the. I get a chance to save face too.
Right. So to me, as you peel back layers, it just keeps stinking.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're going to get down to it. It just keeps stinking as we pull these layers apart. And again, now again, I don't know who the mayor is. I don't know if they're African American. I don't know if they're Latino of LA, whatever. But again, where are my whites going? Hey, that's wrong. Oh, but it sounds a lot like what we've been doing. So you know what, folks?
Thank you.
We got a teleprompter. Line. Right?
Oh yes, unify as one nation. With the blacks? Yes, with everyone.
Right, with all people of color. Right. So even though my outrage is here, and there's the outrage again from the Black community, and of course, good that people all the way up said, this is what we're trying to get rid of here. I don't know where the white people in LA are going. I didn't hear any of those people who you were paid millions and millions of dollars to act were like, oh, hey, that's wrong, but we've been saying it too, everybody. If you're making noise about this, we have to also make noise about this.
That same energy.
And Kent's the only one saying that.
When you hear it at the country club, when you hear it at the block parties, bonfires, when you hear it on the boats, golf courses, keep the same energy. Pretend that your white friend is Hispanic and shut it down just the same.
Yeah. So understand that. Listen, we are seriously right on the back end of this. We can't thank you enough. Keep out there. If you've got something, send it to us at 216thenet@gmail.com. Just put in bridging civil tension in the subject. We'll get to it. We'll bring it up. We would love to do that. We absolutely, again, want to build bridges. And my dear hope is that at some point, we all just go, all right, this has been effed up. Let's move forward together. Let's stop fighting.
Never mind these referees. Let's win championships together.
That's it. All right, for all of us here at 216 the Net, thanks for getting caught in the net. It means a lot to us. Stick around. More to come today.
Love you guys.